Bring your computer, please.
Maybe running up a few minutes behind, I do apologize. We want to make sure we have everything correct.
I hope so. Thanks for the
Just a minute, guys.
Good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Kevin McMahill with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. With me today is Chief Timothy Shea of the Boulder City Police Department and our Special Agent in charge of the local FBI office, Christopher Delzato. We're here to provide information regarding a critical incident that started last night at an LA Department of Water and Power facility located near Boulder City. First and foremost, I'd like to make sure that our communities all understand that there is no ongoing threat at this time. At approximately 10 a.m., Boulder City Police Dispatch received a 911 call reporting a vehicle crash through a secured gate at the power substation. The caller indicated that the driver appeared deceased and that gunshots had been heard after the crash. Boulder City police officers immediately responded to the scene. The driver of this vehicle is identified as 23-year-old Dawson Maloney of Albany, New York. Here's a brief video of that vehicle crashing through the gate. You'll see on the monitor to my left, you'll see the vehicle approach. Now the second video you watch from the right, you'll see the vehicle crash right through the gate into the power facility. At approximately 1 p.m., LVMPD was notified and our counterterrorism section responded to assist. Upon arrival, officers observed, obviously, the broken perimeter fence, consistent with the vehicle being intentionally driven through it, a debris field leading to the silver Nissan Sentra bearing New York license plates. The vehicle was stopped against large industrial wire reels, as you can see in the photograph to my left. And as they got closer, they observed a deceased male subject in the driver's seat with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The subject was also holding a shotgun. You'll notice at the in that previous picture, there's a gunshot through the windshield of the vehicle as well. The officers were also able to observe multiple firearms visible inside of the vehicle. In coordination with the Albany Police Department, we learned that the suspect had recently been reported missing out of New York and that he had communicated with family members just prior to this incident. The suspect had made multiple statements referencing self-harm and alluding to committing an act that would place him, quote, on the news, unquote. In a message to his mother, the suspect referred to himself as a dead terrorist son and stated he felt he had an obligation to carry out his act. We also confirmed through the license plate reader data that the suspect traveled from New York to Nevada in a rental vehicle. You see that LPR data on the screen to my left. Currently, LVMPD Counterterrorism and FBI Las Vegas have been working through the night to advance this investigation. Electronic search warrants were executed on the suspect vehicle. A search warrant was also completed at the El Rancho Boulder Hotel where the suspect had been staying. Our Armored Task Force systematically cleared the vehicle for secondary threats. Given the location and the materials discovered, this incident was treated as a terrorism-related event. The evidence recovered, the search from the hotel room revealed multiple books. You'll see those on the screen to my left, related to extremist ideologies, including right and left-wing extremism, environmental extremism, white supremacy, and anti-government ideology. We also recovered explosive materials and components to include thermite, ammonium nitrate, magnesium ribbon, metal pipes, and gasoline. The search from the rental vehicle revealed 2 shotguns, an AR-style pistol, numerous loaded AR magazines with .223 ammunition, a box of shotgun shells, 2 devices described as flamethrowers containing thermite material, a crowbar and a hatchet, and a cellular phone which is currently being forensically analyzed. Additionally, we discovered the suspect was wearing soft body armor at the time of this incident. These findings significantly elevate the seriousness of this incident. Over the past few years, we've responded to numerous counterterrorism-related events and evolving threat situations. Each time, our teams have done a remarkable job addressing the various issues. Homeland Security remains a top priority for me as your sheriff. We'll continue to invest in the people, the technology, and the intelligence capability and partnership to stay ahead of this. I want to conclude my initial remarks by saying this is another coordinated, multi-agency investigation, and we're currently working very closely with our partners from the FBI and the Boulder City Police Department, as well as additional federal agencies. I'll now turn over the next part of the briefing to our FBI Special Agent in Charge, Christopher Delzato.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. This is still an active investigation. FBI Las Vegas is working with our colleagues at FBI Albany, but I want to provide as much information as I can at this point. So yesterday, February 19th, FBI Las Vegas personnel from our Joint Terrorism Task Force responded to the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power electrical substation located at 875 El Dorado Valley Drive in Boulder City, Nevada. The sheriff covered the specifics of the vehicle crash and the evidence recovered in Las Vegas, so I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the details of evidence we recovered up in Albany. So in coordination with FBI Albany's state and local partners, 2 additional search warrants were executed in New York. Recovered from 1 Albany residence were electronics. Those electronics are currently being pulled for evidence. Recovered from an additional residence in Albany were several gun components needed to assemble a firearm, a 3D printer as well. Based on the information we've uncovered so far, we believe Mr. Maloney rented a car in Albany, as the sheriff mentioned, on February 12th, and departed the area sometime around the 14th to drive across the country to Boulder City. Our partners at FBI Albany are the lead on this investigation, which is now focused on determining any additional information related to Mr. Maloney in this incident. They will be conducting additional interviews related to the investigation and will provide any necessary updates. We'd like to thank our law enforcement partners across the country for their incredible cooperation, including obviously Las Vegas Metro and the sheriff here, and assistance with this investigation. We'd also like to thank both the U.S. Attorney offices in the Northern District of New York as well as the District of Nevada. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Shea, the Chief of Boulder City Police Department, and I want to say we appreciate the partnerships and coordination evident in this case. I want to just point out that there's no indication of major damage to any of the critical infrastructure. There are also no known service interruptions, and the scene remains active investigation as it continues and the processing continues of the evidence. We also recognize the gravity of an armed individual intentionally breaching the power facility while in possession of incendiary components. Our responsibility is to identify threats early and act decisively and protect critical infrastructure. Because of the rapid response and coordination in law enforcement action, this incident was contained quickly. There is no continuing threat to the community. And I want to emphasize that the public can play a critical role in the protection of these critical investigations and structures by following the see something, say something guidance. Thank you, and I'll turn it back to the sheriff.
All right, we'll be happy to take a few questions if anybody has some. If you please just say who you are and Kristen.
Kristen Drummond with News 3. Sheriff McMahill, did the suspect leave a note behind or explain why he wanted to target that particular substation? Was he looking to potentially knock out the entire grid?
Yeah, so the question is did the suspect leave a note behind or any indication that he wanted to knock out that particular substation or that grid? And the answer is we don't know yet. We're still going through all the search warrant material as well as the data that we're receiving from both New York as well as locally.
And
Victoria, Fox 5. Has the suspect been here before? Clearly not something about a resident. Did he scope this area out?
The question is, has the suspect been here before? And as we sit here today, I can't answer that question. I'm not certain that he has been here before previously or not. David?
David Shards, he was out. Two questions for you. So LA has this facility. Can you just explain why? Obviously, there's a lot of power stuff down there. Why? What does this facility do for them?
Tim, you want to answer that question, or you want me to take a stab at it?
Take a stab at it, boss.
Okay, so the question is LA has this property here in southern Nevada, and the answer is that it is a power facility that works closely with Hoover Dam, and it's a transfer facility so that a large portion of the power that comes from here is transferred to the LA basin for power. And that's really the extent of what I know about it. Now we're working with the company to better understand that, but it's not uncommon for these large solar fields in Nevada to power other states.
The timing, so you said that the crash happened at 10 a.m. So when was someone notified to actually go out there, whether it's Metro or Boulder City?
So Boulder City, the question is, when was the initial notification made? Boulder City responded initially as a potential suicide out in that particular area. It takes a little while for those officers to get out there safely, to get inside of the perimeter of these types of facilities due to the amount of electricity that's occurring out there. So once they were able to get out there and determine that a suicide had occurred and the suspicious circumstances that were surrounding it, we then coordinated both with our counterterrorism section and the local FBI office, and then that led us to where we're sitting here today.
We saw video of him just literally, the gate didn't do much. You talked about some of the stuff this morning about Las Vegas being a target. The almost exact same thing happened 3 years ago up in Apex, where that person ultimately was charged and did not kill themselves. So I don't want you to repeat yourself from this morning, but we clearly have an issue with people targeting these substations, and what can we do so they can't just do that?
Yeah, so David asked about the incident that we had a number of years ago up north near the Apex event, and the vulnerabilities that we have in these power plants, and that's something that we're continuing to look at. We know in this particular case, there are private security officers that are out there. There's video, unlike we had not had in the previous incidents. So there are things that they've done to target harden that. I will tell you that in speaking with Chief Shea, they also have a robust relationship with the Boulder City Police Department out there, and so we'll continue to look at how we target harden those locations. I know, Kristen, you had another question.
When the suspect ran into that fence, how far did he get into that area before he was stopped? And do you know if it appears he may have died by suicide after his car stopped, or as he may have been trying to drive through?
The question is, how far did he get in, and did he commit suicide before he was stopped by those wires? We believe that the wire barrels stopped him, and he committed suicide. The actual distance, I haven't been briefed on that distance yet, but we can provide that information as we move forward. One more, sir.
Brian Horwath with you, Journal. So this guy Maloney, he talked at all about anything else in his background that would lead to thoughts about anything that rises to the surface?
The question is, there's anything in Mr. Horwath, the suspect's background as to would lead me to indicate why he did what he did, and it's too early in the investigation for me to tell you that. We're going through, obviously, all the computers, all the documents. You saw this smorgasbord of radical literature that is there. This is something that we have seen in the last couple of years, that individuals will take very left-wing ideology, very right-wing ideology, combine it with a cult and a number of different types of things, and then they come up with their own ideology, right? So we really don't know here what has caused this extremism. There's some indications that there had been potentially some early online activity that he had alluded to, but it's too early for me to tell you with any definitive ability that these are the things that caused that. But as we continue into the investigation, we'll certainly come back and provide you additional updates, and we thank you very much for coming and covering this. Have a good day.